Hi, everybody. This is Gary Dean with Sentiment Timing, and this is our technical video report for Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. So, we saw some initial selling, and what I put in the morning notes was that we're going to be opening up right near the 6,400. We actually went below that. And I said, keep an eye on the 63.85, 63.75. And I said, for aggressive traders, you can build a long position in all the from 6,400, but we opened up at 63.85 down to 63.75 with a stop at 63.38. So if we take a look at the S&P, you can see this is the 2-minute bar. So the first one you really would have been able to get into is the 63.84. It went a little bit below the 63.75, and then we had this move straight up. And then from there we took out the lows. So we actually took a trade in the SPY today when we came down to these levels around here on the S&P and closed them up here. And then I didn't really go long again on it. I was pretty busy, but you can see this is really a bear trap right here, meaning that a lot of people that were long had their stops here, and when we broke below it, a lot of bears got aggressive, thinking that we're going to be heading down, and then they pop it up. So the S&P closed down 44 right now. As far as with the spiders, because that closed at 640. That's trading at 642. So I don't know if if the futures are popping up, but in any case, it's your classic failure to the downside, and we went up on it. So we had a decent day. I really only made one trade, and that was the trade getting into the getting long the spiders and getting long the VXX for protection, and it worked out pretty good. I didn't really, like I said, this would have been another decent trade, but I just was too busy today. So let's just take a look. This is just regular support resistance. So if we come down, the first support level, this is off a price. You're looking at 64.07. This is going to be the important one. We could even make this a little bit thicker and say, this is what the bulls really want to hold above, and that's the 64.01, because you can see, and this is only a 2-minute chart, but the moving averages are trying to cross right here, and it's price support. And if we lose that, then you're going to see the S&P coming down and testing the 63.85 level, and then below that 63.77, and then we got the lows from today at the 63.68, and then this will be an important pivot at the 63.60, because if the bears lose that, I'm sorry, if the bulls lose it, then we do have some support right here. You can see down at the 63.50, and then down at the at the 63.43. So there are some support levels, but you can see we had bullish divergences here. So when you're trying to press the short side, you're going to lose, because this is on a 5-minute chart, and we also had it on a 15. No, we didn't have it on a 15-minute chart. But in any case, you're looking for a low here. You're not looking to short, because you have buy signals, and it was it was really an easy day of trading. I wish I wasn't so busy today, just catching up from Friday, but let's just move into some patterns here. So if this is just an ABC move, then we're going to be looking for the S&P to come somewhere up into the 64.28. If they get above it, you can see the 50% retracement that's sitting at 64.34. This is the important one. This is the 62% retracement, because this is pretty much where the gap is, and that's at 64.50. If the bears lose this line, then really the next one we're looking at, we probably have resistance at 64.65, but really it's probably coming up to the 64.76 level. And if they get there, then we're going to see some trouble, because they'll probably try to close this gap at the 65.03. So even though, like I said, I'm leaning more on the bearish side, yeah, today my trades are on the long side. So you got to adjust on what you see on a daily basis. But as far as my positions, I didn't add anything today. The IREN, that one is still smoking right now. It's made it up to 29. Remember, that entry was at 22.50. So that's doing pretty well. But right now, you can almost see that if we gap up, which there's a chance we might, you just want to keep an eye on these levels here, because if they fail and then we come down and take these lows out, now we're starting to see a series of lower highs and lower lows. And we could really see that on a 15-minute chart here. Even though we made this right here, we're really just looking at this line and then we're looking at this line. So 64.63, if the bulls can get above that before the bears get below the 63.60, then the bulls erase the lower low, lower high format there. So here you can see we also have this resistance, 64.35. Moving averages are starting to curl over. Price resistance. So this is going to be an important line. And then again, above it, 64.50. Now, if the bears can take out these lows, as I said, we have some support right here at the 63.43. And then we're looking at this gap fill here at 63.41. So if we come down here, most likely we're going to close the gap. But really, now we're looking at a move down to the 63.10 and the 6300, which would be my downside targets if these lows are taken out. So let's take a look at an hourly chart, and you can see we had bearish divergences. Now we're pretty oversold, and we don't really have any buy signals here. So we didn't have them here either, and they went straight up. So it's really more the sell signals that I pay attention to, because if we do get a buy signal, it's usually a really good buying opportunity, but we really don't get them too much because we get these V bottoms, and once we hit some kind of support and take off, they don't really come back down and test it. But you can see the important support, 63.43. And then there's not, you have these little ones, but really I'd be looking at the next move coming down to the 6300, 6287 level. So we have the bulls have some room to move up. Again, we really want to keep an eye on these resistance levels. If this is just an ABC move, what we're looking at as far as a downside target is it would be really, it depends on where the top is, but let's just say that is it right there. What we're looking at is a move coming down somewhere into the the 6260 level. So this is an ABC. That's if it's here. Now, if we actually move up some more, this is where I'll get the proper ABC move if this is really what's in play. But let's say it gets up to this resistance here, then we're looking at a move coming down to the 6287 level. So right now, like I said, I was open-ended today. Even though I'm leaning short or I'm leaning cautious to bearish. And in say the next 4 to 6 weeks. But intraday, I was bullish today. Those are the only trades I made. I did not look short today because when we get these gap downs, if you press the downside, you're gonna get yourself in trouble. And it was easier trading the upside than it was the downside. So let's see what plays out tomorrow. The fund did okay today. We locked in $1,210. This is that VXX trade that, again, it expires on Friday, but we can use our long side trades against it. So it's why I have that. And if I have to roll it up one or down one, I could do that, whatever it is. But right now, I'm just really using it for protection. And, if we gap down tomorrow, then this thing will be up. If we gap up, then we start looking at resistance. So let's see what plays out tomorrow. Have a fantastic night, and I will talk to you guys in the